The Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or the M.I.L.F, is the largest militant organization in the Philippines and seeks autonomy for Filipino Muslims. The M.I.L.F split from the Moro National Liberation Front, or the MNLF, in 1977, although it was generally inactive and did not call itself the M.I.L.F until 1984. The M.I.L.F controls territory in the southern Philippines, governing by Sharia law. It has generally focused on political negotiation, but it has significant history of terrorism and militancy. In 2014, the M.I.L.F concluded peace negotiations with the Philippine government for an autonomous region in the southern Philippines, to be called the Bangsamoro. And the M.I.L.F is in the process of gradual disarmament. The M.I.L.F is the vanguard of the Islamic movement in the Bangsamoro homeland in Mindanao and the neighboring islands. The M.I.L.F was formed in 1977 when Hashim Salamat, supported by ethnic Magindanaos in Mindanao, split from the Moro National Liberation Front, advocating a more moderate and conciliatory approach towards the government. In January 1987, the MNLF signed an agreement relinquishing its goal of independence for Muslim regions and accepting the government's offer of autonomy. The Moro Islamic Liberation Front, the next largest faction, refused to accept the accord and initiated a brief offensive that ended in a truce later that month. The Mindanao-based Moro Islamic Liberation Front fields around 2,900 troops.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jonalyn C. Ahmad, and I am going to report about events before M.I.L.F. So a lot of things occurred after MNLF was made prominently. There seems to be relationship or leadership rather, despite in the regards to the two leaders, Hashim Salamat and Mesawari. As early as 1962, students in the Middle East, particularly in Cairo, Egypt, started form an organization internally along Islamic sentiments and orientations. Eventually, this paved the way for the formation of a nucleus with the sole intention of freeing the Moron home from the Manila War. The emerging leader of this group was Hashim Salamat. These students were enrolled in various Islamic-related courses and they attended their counterparts in Manila. And they were the first convinced the idea organization liberation fronts though grown along Islamic lines. Hence, this organization would take the historic task of liberating the Morons. At the start of the struggle, Salamat and Masawari worked closely but fraudulent struggles. The growth rift between the two Muslim leaders. They disagree on a major point, and Salamat was often left on decision made by the central community. Probably they different in their philosophy because Mesawari was centrally educated and non-nationalistic. Salamat was Islamic-oriented. The final breakthrough took place in 1977 after the GRP MNLF peace talk collapsed after the unfortunate event. Petitions for the outsider of Mesawari and his replacement by Salamat came to force. Copies were sent to the central community and foreign Islamic state. So Salamat took over due to the following reasons. Number 1. The M.I.L.F leadership was being drawn away from the Islamic basic. Number 2. It it was not collective leadership anymore, but more on Meswari monolithic leadership. Lastly, number 3, arrogant nature of M.I.L.F leadership. The takeover was ignored by M.I.L.F. Leadership attempts to medicate and patch up the leaders' crisis were made by the OIC. Efforts and medication failed. So the separation of the M.I.L.F led to the creation of the Moro Islamic Liberation. Thank you so much for listening.
With the signing of the final peace agreement between M.I.L.F and government, Ramos took initiative to revive the peace negotiation with M.I.L.F. Exploratory talks began with a series of one-by-one meetings with Secretary Torres and Vice Chairman Ghazali Jafar. Procedural meetings were held on how the formal talks shall begin and conducted. A technical committee was agreed upon to split into Committee for Agenda Setting and Committee for Cessation and Hostilities. Formal peace talks began in January 1997 at Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao. The mood was very positive and festive for both sides. According to press release, the meeting was historic and tagged as a step forward along lasting in peace in Mindanao. But when Ramos' presidency ended in 1998, Joseph Estrada took over as the new president. Contrary to Ramos, Estrada declared all-out war against the Moros, skirmishes, and one after another. Followed in 2000, the Armed Forces of the Philippines overran all M.I.L.F camps, including the main and biggest one.
The M.I.L.F originated as a splinter group of the Moro National Liberation Front in the 1970s. Hashim Salamat, an M.I.L.F co-founder, began to have ideological and political disagreement with Noor Misery. His fellow co-founder and M.I.L.F K-leader, Salamat charged that Misery was not pursuing truly Islamic goals in conjunction with the quest for Moro independence. And in December 1977, Salamat led a group and M.I.L.F members in an attempt to take control from Misery. When the attempt failed, Salamat established a splinter group called the New M.I.L.F, which broke completely the M.I.L.F. Ramos knew, even before he became president in 1992, that peace was key to the nation's economic development and addressing the roots of conflict in research rich in Mindanao. The country's food basket would be a major step forward. He disappeared from public view during the presidential campaign to visit Libya's Muammar Gaddafi, explaining later that he sought his help to get Noor Misery, founding chair of the Moro Nation Liberation Front, back to the peace. Secretary Torres and Vice Chair Ghazali Jafar of M.I.L.F exploratory talk began with the series of one-by-one meetings between Secretary Torres and Vice Chair Ghazali Jafar of M.I.L.F. Joseph Estrada declared an all-out war against the Moro skirmishes, one after another, followed in 2000. Then, Armed Forces of the Philippines overran all M.I.L.F camps, including the main and biggest one, Camp Abubakar. The M.I.L.F abandoned their camps and they resorted to guerrilla warfare. Hence, while the civilians evacuated to safer places, Estrada's idea of an all-out war did not end the Muslim rebellion.
Is M.I.L.F a successful burnout? Here is the review. Yes, it is successful. The M.I.L.F engaged in negotiations with the government, leading to the signing of Comprehensive Agreement on Bangsamoros, or for short CAB, in 2014. This agreement agreement laid the groundwork for the creation of Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARMM. The establishment of BARMM represents a significant step toward addressing the historical grievances of the Moro people and providing them with a degree of political autonomy within the Philippine state. The M.I.L.F has transitioned from a rebel group to the political entity participating in the government structures of the BARMM. This shift reflects a move towards more peaceful and political resolution to the long-standing conflict.